And good evening. Welcome to Coach's Corner here at the Highliner Activity Center, our first Coach's Corner of the new year. With kind of a lot of activity going on here in the Hack tonight. The girls are having a team dinner here right next door. We'll be talking with Jimmy Howard and Tessa Olson here in just a few minutes. But right now we're going to be talking boys basketball, and we are joined by senior Callahan Birchall. Hey, welcome to the show, buddy. Appreciate it. Last night, Grand Forks Red River. Now, this is number 4 ranked team in the state, I think, going into the game, so you knew it was going to be a tough one. Looked like inside game was tough for them. Were they a physical team last night?
Yeah, we were watching some film, and they were a physical team. We knew it was going to be a tough game. They were a little bit more bigger than us. They had a couple guys that were pretty beefy, more aggressive. They were a lot quicker than us, but that's what we were planning to pregame for.
So you knew it was coming. You had that game plan, but I think they I'm trying to think of the young man's name that Kraft or so, I can't remember. But anyway, we won't get into their guys so much. But just this year now, you look at Callahan, your senior year. You're working now with a new coaching staff. How have things been going, the adjustment now that you've had with the new coaching staff?
Yeah, during the summer I was pretty stoked. New coaches. We were running open gyms twice a week. It was pretty good. Got into the season, I was pretty pumped. New coaching staff was pretty good. There's a lot more, I don't know how to say it. Practices were a little more aggressive than last year.
More energy, would you say?
Yeah, coaches gave us more energy, which the players should, but the coaches gave us a lot of energy, which is nice. Yeah.
Now with and the style, I know that the 3-pointers is going to be kind of a big part of this team's game. You got a lot of guys in this team that can shoot the 3, yourself included. How's that? As far as, is that something you worked on? You like going out and shooting that 3 ball?
Yeah, sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't. Last year we were a pretty good 3-point shooting team. That's what we were thinking this year, but our first 7 games, our 3-point percentage is not good. But we're going to go into Horace tomorrow night, and we're going to get a W, hopefully.
Well, and yourself, too, being what I guess you would say a big man, you're probably playing against the other team's post or a power forward. Pulling them away from the basket, is that maybe good on your guys' game plan? Hey, get those big guys out and having to guard someone like you on the perimeter?
Yeah, I like to drive a lot, and our team's not a very good driving team, but we like to shoot 3-pointers more, which we need to get better at. But yeah, we need to get a lot more dump downs, which we should be getting those, but this year it hasn't been good for dump downs. A lot more layups we need to get.
How about the confidence level? I know you guys, you've been working hard. I've seen you guys in games, and it's from the opening jump ball until the end. There's no quit in this group. So you guys know that eventually you're going to get that the law of averages, as they say, and you're going to pick up some W's this year. So, if you keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, things will work out.
Yeah, we got a lot of younger guys. I tell them to shoot. We've been telling them to shoot with confidence. Yeah, play with confidence. I hope they're not too nervous. We got Jack Dearley's a freshman playing a lot of varsity, so I hope those guys are playing with a lot of confidence.
And as a senior, you kind of look, helping them along, and you got to be the leader on this team as a senior. And like you said, you're telling them like that and at practice. So did you really know coming into this year, hey, I'm going to probably have to be one of those leaders?
Yeah. It's been tough so far. A lot of guys bring some bad energy, which it's hard to deal with. Some adversity, a lot of adversity so far. So we've been trying to deal with that. And then as season goes on, it's gotten better. But as it keeps going on, it's got to get a lot better.
I think a W will help that, won't it?
Yes, it will a lot.
And now you got West Fargo Horace here. I think that's on the road here on Thursday, and then you come home with Lisbon on Saturday. So what do you think this team needs to do to get that W and pick up number 1?
We need to go into Horace tomorrow night with a W mindset. We need to go into their gym and show them who's boss, and then Lisbon on Saturday. Hopefully pack the Hack, get a lot of people there to support, and show Lisbon who's boss again.
Yeah, and that's a matinee. That's during the day. I think it's 10:30 for the JV and for the C squad, and then you guys I think go around 12:30 or 12, and then the girls go after that. So that'll be here at the Hack. So yeah, come on out to the Hack. The weather's going to be nice. So is it nice too after having a 3-week hiatus to get on the floor again?
Yeah, Christmas break set us back a little bit, but a little conditioning didn't hurt. So we got in the gym and we're ready to go.
Did you do some shoveling to get some conditioning in?
Did a lot of shoveling.
All right. Well, Callahan, I appreciate you stopping by and joining us, and good luck here on Thursday with the Hawks.
Thanks, Paul.
You bet. That is Callahan Birchall, senior with the Valley City Highlanders. We'll be back with more from the boys basketball team on Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highliner Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner, again, our first Coach's Corner of 2023 of the new year. Hope everybody had a great holiday, and despite all the snow and the weather that we had here, but we're back at it now for the second half, the unofficial second half of the season, and we're joined by Assistant Coach Brandon Bradford. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Did you have a good holiday?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, despite everything that went on?
Yeah, despite the weather, yeah.
But at least we got some games back now and practice and got the boys back in the gym. And did you see coming back after the holiday break a little bit of a lull? You had to get them back in the routine again?
A little bit. You know, a holiday is always for all the kids. You know, they're having fun being a kid again. So to ask them to come from being the kids again to young men, to get back in shape, to get back into the basketball aspect, it took a little time. But a lot of these guys are good. They wanted it. So then it wasn't like that long. It was just that little. Coach might have had to get on them real quick for the first 10 minutes. After that, we went back to business.
Well, I looked at the South game that we had here, the first game after the holiday break. There was a lot of energy, and not just from, in the building, too, the fans and you and Coach Terry. I mean, there seems like there's a lot of energy. You feeling that with this group of young men, that they can bring the energy?
Yes, sir. That's the most thing we're working on is the energy for our team, the fans as well. We need all the energy every game. Every game we're going into, so they can start believing we can win again. So we can get that taste. Once we get that taste of a win, as soon as we get it, I know we're going to take off. We're writing every game. We're getting improving. Every game we're improving. And sometimes it's just like that one run in the second half that team will go on, we don't bounce back from. If we can fix those things, we'll be right where we want to be.
And that's kind of what happened last night, too, against Grand Forks Red River. I know you got it down to 4, I think 25-21, and then it was, I think, 35-25 at half or something like that. But then they just had that one run, and it was tough to really come back from that, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. And we did very good for that to be the number 2 team in the EDC. That we did very good, and we just lost a lot of energy. We was tired. We was playing great defense for all the game. I know they underestimated us. They thought it was going to be a little easier than what they thought. And then when they came and seen out at halftime, you could tell they was like, okay, this is going to be a fight. They had to dig in as well.
Yep.
They had to work. And I think our guys, we wanted it so bad sometimes we get emotionally drained. And then when they do go on the runs, it's hard to bounce back from when all your emotions get into it. You're trying so hard to win. And it was like like you said, it was 4, then it was 10. And then next thing you know, it's just a quick 18, 15, 20-point lead on us, and then we're fighting back from that, and then we're spending more energy to fight back from that, it gets pretty difficult then.
Their inside game, look, I think I just looked it up, like 42 points in the paint. Were they a physical team down low or not?
They got a lot of second chance opportunities.
Okay.
They did go to the post to number 33 and 5 a couple times. Number 5 was their best post player, I believe. They didn't give him that many touches as we thought he would get. That was benefited for us as well. What they did was that when they penetrated, their guards got a lot of good layups in the paint. It was tough layups, tough floater shots they was getting. But when they missed, them guys was getting second chance opportunities or third chance opportunities where they was beating us on the rebounds for sure. So that's why the inside presence probably was so dominant, because they was getting the rebounds.
And that's something that is. Have you seen that's been maybe a Achilles heel for these group for the Highlanders is the defensive rebounding?
Yeah, sometimes we try to go with our athleticism to match theirs, and we're trying to out jump them instead of putting a body on them, boxing out. When we stay disciplined, we box out, we'll get those rebounds, and that's where it comes into that fatigue. When we get fatigued, it's like we get mentally fatigued too, and we stop doing the things that kept us in the game or we've been achieving. And that's what me and Coach been trying to work on, is when you get in that mental fatigue, don't stop playing defense. Don't get mentally lost in the game where you just that fatigue where you just mentally lapsed it, and now you're not playing as good as defense, or you're just giving underlay layups on. Then earlier we was stopping them layups, we was challenging them rebounds, getting them rebounds. It was a great first half. Great first half, and I say, well, great 7 minutes into the second half. And then that run came, and it seemed like that every game, like I said, every game, it's that one run that it's our Achilles heel right now.
You had mentioned about they maybe underestimated us coming in. In the EDC, we saw a lot of upsets last night. Is that something, too, that you can, hey, fellas, anybody can beat anybody on any given night here?
Man, Coach been saying that from before the season. We him kind of seeing how the EDC was and who was strong and who was kind of in the same position as us, building, rebuilding with new coaching staffs and new players and things like that. So we knew we had a chance. But then, like you said, last night with all the upsets from a lot of teams were underestimated. I think a lot of them teams probably did underestimate them guys like how we are. And just like we'll find out when you get that 1-1 team to underestimate us, it's going to look bad for them.
Now you got Horace coming. You go to Horace here on Thursday. A team that may be similar to you guys as far as rebuilding. I mean, it's their first or second year that they've had a program, I think, at Horace, varsity-wise. Is that a good matchup for you guys coming in on Thursday?
It's a good matchup, but we don't want to do what teams do to us. We don't want to go in there and underestimate them guys because we feel like, well, this is a gimme. It's not a gimme. It's not a gimme in EDC. You got to go take it and earn it. We respect them guys. There's a good group of young guys over there. They got some nice, tough guards over there. But if we come in and play the game like we know we can play, like we know our team is, we should be just fine and be able to get that win.
What does this? What do the Highlanders do well? You and Coach Terry and Coach Madsen watches and say, "Hey, there's this one thing that we really do well."
When we do, like in the first half, you seen when we take possession of the ball, we run our sets real good. When we come down, we run our offensive play. The ball is moving, snapping, everybody's energized, and we're knocking down shots. Sometimes when the game get a little fast-paced for us, or we try to push the ball a little hard, sometimes it gets a little sloppy for us, and then we lose control, or we'll lose. And in that sloppiness, the other team might get 5 points here, 5 points there, and that's how we lose that lead because now we're playing a fast, sloppy-paced game, which a lot of these teams kind of do. They all kind of a lot of these teams in EDC want to make it sloppy and fast because they got a lot of athleticism and athletes where they can just run and get down the court, guys that can make layups, jump high. So they depend on their athleticism. And we're more of a team where we need to depend more on our IQ. We need to run our sets. When we run our sets, we are probably one of the best teams in the EDC. We run our sets so good. And when we get those, first half of the game, the first halves is so fun to watch with us. We competing, we're competitive because we're controlling the pace of the game.
And that's the key. You want it to be at your level. You want to play your style of basketball, make the other team play your style, then vice versa.
Yes.
And that's what you're talking about. If the other teams are getting you into that sloppy mode, then you're out of your game, and you got to somehow get back into it.
Yes, because when we do get like that, unfortunately right now, we're not getting transition layups. We're missing a lot of those transition layups, and the other team is converting their transition layups. Then it gets real sloppy. Both teams look sometimes disastrous after how both teams are playing, but one team is getting layups, and then they're getting points that we're not. And then by the time we realize that, we try to get back into the pace of the game, we're down 10, 12 points. And then we're tired and we're hanging our head and beating up on ourselves. Really, a lot of that, most of that, all of the time, I would say it comes from self-inflicted wounds from ourselves.
Confidence, something that this team needs to find to get over that hump too?
When we get down, that's when the confidence it's hard for us to get back up. When we get down, that old spirit of, it's kind of over. And when you're looking at the clock as a coach, when we coach and we look and see it's like 7, 8 minutes left, we need them to believe you can still buckle down and make a run. I be telling them all the time, like when you watch college basketball on ESPN, sometimes you'll get up, like, this game's over. You'll leave and go get some drink or something, come back in. You be like, it's 5 points, 10 points.
Yes.
That's the same way we try and get these guys to understand, man. Slow the game down. We get stops. That's why coach always preach 5 stops. 5 stops, we back in the game. We get 5 stops, and we can convert on those 5 stops. That's when we'll be back in the game. And sometimes we'll get those 5 stops, but we're not converting. And that's the hard part for them to believe because they see we're getting the stops, but then we're not converting. Then there's extra hanging your head like, damn, we do all this hard work. It's like it's for nothing because then you're not getting it. So we're working through those things. Once we get those things, man, we're gonna be right. We're gonna be right where we need to be.
So a lot of basketball to play. A lot of basketball you have to play this year. And I know in the next week and a half or so, there's gonna be a lot of games here. We got Horace coming up on Thursday, then Lisbon here on Saturday afternoon. So a lot of basketball coming up here for the Highlanders. So a lot of chances to get this thing going.
Yes, sir. Then we starting to see that the teams again a second time.
Right.
And most of the time, that second time is a little bit more harder than the first time because now we know you know us, but we know you guys. So now we can build off that. So we're looking forward to that, to meeting a lot of these guys this second time around.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Coach, I appreciate you stopping by again and look forward to talking to you down the line. And good luck here with Horace on Thursday.
Man, thank you for having me.
You bet, Coach. Coach Brandon Bradford joining us from the Highlanders. We'll be back. And girls basketball on the agenda next with Coach's Corner from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner, here from the Highlander Activities Center and our little corner of the world that we hear on Wednesday nights. And again, we had a nice little 2-week hiatus. Well, actually, I think we're off 3 weeks because of weather and the Christmas break. So we are back at it here live on Highlander Activity Network. Now we're going to be talking girls basketball, and junior Tessa Olson is joining us. Tessa, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Hey, your first time on the show.
Yep.
So how's the spaghetti? Was it good?
It was really good.
Good. They had their a little team dinner here, so she got a little something in her tummy before she gets put on the hot grill. No, I'm not gonna put you on the hot seat. Last night, Tessa, Grand Forks Red River, they were I think ranked 4th in the state too, coming in as far as Class A for girls basketball. It looked like that start was pretty much the downfall at the beginning of the game. What was kind of the difference in the beginning of that game?
Our turnovers were pretty bad. It wasn't great. We kind of struggled with that, but they're just a really scrappy team and really aggressive.
And but you guys battled back. So I mean, I think the second half was very close. What was different? Just you guys starting to hit shots, or what was kind of the difference here in that second half?
I think we kind of just settled into the game and just got our heads straight and just went with the flow as best as we could.
You get nervous beginning of games too,
Yeah.
even though you've been playing basketball since you probably knee high to a grasshopper, but you still get a few butterflies getting going.
Yeah, pretty much every game.
Every game,
Yeah.
we got to break you of that. Don't worry about it. You're fine. You're a good player. You'll be great. Let's talk a little bit about Tessa Olson for just a bit. Let's look at this season now, your junior year, just so far. I mean, you're only not even halfway through the season. What are some things you feel you need to kind of maybe work on, and some things you think you do a little bit pretty good as you look at this year so far?
I think I'm pretty good being aggressive on offense. I mean, I still could attack more downhill and hit more few jumpers, but I think I'm improving. But my 3-point shots have been better, but they can always also improve.
So probably everything is good,
Yeah.
but it could get better. Everything can always get better.
Yes.
And if you're aggressive and maybe attacking a little bit more, you might get fouled. Do you feel you're a good free throw shooter?
Yeah, I've been pretty on lately.
Pretty
so,
steady?
Yeah.
I hope I didn't jinx you now, because when I watch against Horace on Thursday, she'll clank them all, and then she's just going to sit on the bench going, Paul, you've jinxed me. Thanks a lot. As you look now with Horace coming up here on Thursday for a home game, what do you expect out of the Hawks? So again, this is a young team. This is a team that's only, I think, second year of having a program. What do you expect out of Horace?
They're also going to be a pretty scrappy team. They have a pretty good post and a pretty good 3-point shooter, so we just got to play some good defense and then hit our shots.
And now you guys picked up a win against, I think it was Fargo South here last week, picked up that first win. And I said, well, Addie Wagner's gone, so South is a little bit more beatable. What did you feel was a big key in that win, that 74-50 win against the Bruins last week?
We had good movement with the ball. Just played really good defense. Got up on them and shut down their offense most of the time. I thought it was good.
Did everything work? Was it one of those games where everything worked? Your offense was going,
Yes.
The defense was going, and everything just kind of clicked. Now you got to just look at that film and take that into every game, right?
Yep.
Well, you got Horace coming up on Thursday, then Lisbon again on Saturday, and Tessa, again, thanks for joining us. You did just fine, so
Good.
now you got that first one out of the way. You'll be a master the rest of the time that you do this. So thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
You bet. Tessa Olson Jr. from the Highlander girls basketball team. Coach Jimmy Howard coming up next here as Coach's Corner continues from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Center. And back here on the Highliner Activity Network. Now I know where I'm at and where we're at here live on YouTube on Coach's Corner and girls basketball again, continuing with our girls basketball conversation. Coach Jimmy Howard and a couple of his assistants joining us here. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good.
I think they made it. I think one of them or both of them made an appearance last year too.
Maybe
on Coach's Corner when you have these team meals, you always get the fam, but that's all right. I think she could be a pretty good interview.
Yeah, I think she would. She's not shy. She'll talk.
She'll talk. I wonder where she gets that from.
Not me.
Let's chat a little bit about last night's game, Coach.
Yep.
Just got off to a real bad start. Probably was the key in that one last night.
Yeah, we had some early turnovers and just kind of mental mistakes with those, and then we got some point-blank shots.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't go. It seemed like there was a lid on that side of the hoop. We struggled in our JV game on the same side. And, I think if you make some of those baskets, even with the turnovers, you make a few of those baskets. I think it was 11-3 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the game, and maybe you put a little pressure on them to continue to execute. And now you're in the game. It's kind of going back and forth versus just feeling like you're kind of out of it and you're playing from behind the whole time. So even with the early turnovers, which it seems to plague us this year right now, but just finishing by the hoop, if we could have done that early in the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, then the second half was a lot better. Second half, 30-27. You look like defense got better in the second half. You're starting to hit some shots in the second half, and so second half really was a much better half.
Yes, right around the 7-minute mark, it kind of seemed like we remembered. Hey, this is how we play offense, and this is how we run our stuff. And defensively, we wanted to limit Schiller. We know that she is a prolific scorer, and she really makes that team go. And so our goal was to just slow her down.
Sure.
And for the most part, we held her to 14, which is well below her season average. Mm-hmm. And so once again, you play offense in the first half like you did in the second half, and that game's probably a little bit different.
Last week, picked up win number 1 against Fargo South, 74-50 win. And like I said to Tessa, Addie Wagner's gone.
Yep.
So South might be a little bit more vulnerable. Not that one person can make a team, but she seemed to be the stirrer that stirred that team. What was the big key for you guys in that win against the Bruins?
Defensively, we struggled a little bit just early, just some of our execution, but we had basically 5 days of practice, or 5 days off, 3 days of games and practice, and then 5 days off again, and now we're playing South. Okay. And so just some of the conditioning side of it, but offensively, to start the first half and the second half, we came out a little slow, but then kind of got it going, and rebounding was a big part of that. Getting some steals and turnovers, converting, and then we started making some outside shots. And as you know, once you start making outside shots, you start spreading the defense. It opened up the inside, and then we finally had 5 kids in double digits. Mm-hmm. All right, and so, all right, you guys got to stop pulling on that. Okay, otherwise you're going to pull the whole thing down.
We don't want our cameraman mad.
And so, 5 people in double digits, that's what we're looking to do every game, or try to get close to that. And so that was huge.
And it seemed like there was, even looking at the West Fargo game, I think it came back, and I think it was 42-42 at one time in the second half. So we saw glimpses there. And it's like that for you guys. If you can play, you get those glimpses, but we need you to do that for 36 minutes.
Oh boy, we got.
Oh, she wants it. Well, she doesn't like it dangling. She's like me.
We got to stop. Go play. The West Fargo game. Early in the game, we struggled with a few things. Mainly scoring in the second half. We really played great defense in the post, and we got our offense going, and we got some turnovers and were able to get going and running, and and then we got back in, and it seemed like we made one small mistake, and just kind of that was it. We were tired, we were exhausted, and that was the end of that. But no, we've shown spurts of what we can do when all 5 kids are firing on the court, and when our bench comes in and is contributing really well. And so just trying to put that together for 36 minutes is the goal.
That's the key. Well, now we got West Fargo Horse here on Thursday coming to town. And a young program. Is this a good matchup for you with the Hawks?
Yeah, they got a big. She's going to be very difficult. She's a great rebounder and offensive rebounder and scorer there. Their guards are really starting to come on. Last game, one of their players had 5 or 6 threes, so we got to watch out for that. They got another player that's a good driver. She kind of initiates the offense. It's going to be a good matchup for us, and I know people you hear, oh, they're the new school, like it should be easy. Those kids have been playing basketball for a while, so it's not, and as we know in anything, they've already got their first win, so they're going to come in here with a ton of confidence. We just got to protect home court. It's been a while since we've been in our routine. So I think we're ready to show up and play and have a big game. The girls are disappointed in how we played yesterday in overall. So I think they're ready to show up and show people that.
Final question before you get torn to shreds here. He's a jungle gym, no pun intended. A big stretch for you guys, too. You're going to be playing a lot of basketball over the next week and a half.
Yep.
And is that good, though? I know coaches like practice and players like games, but maybe get into that routine. You talk about that rhythm, get into that routine.
We do have a lot of games. Players like to play. Practice does become monotonous at times and too much for the kids constantly doing the same thing. And there's only so much you can work on.
Right.
Sometimes you need to get out of the court and just get going. So I like to see where we're at, and I think playing that gets us back in there. And it definitely lets us see where we're at here since we've had those cancellations early in the season. We haven't seen what it looks like when we play 3-4 games on a regular basis. We've had those reschedules, and we haven't really gotten that flow. So I think once we get back in the swing of things here, I'm very excited. I still think the team's got a lot of potential. And we just got to try to get everyone firing at the same time. So.
Get into those routines. Kids love routine.
Yes.
They love routines.
They'll tell you they don't.
They don't, but they do, deep down. All right. Well, Jimmy, again, appreciate you stopping by. And, hey, I love the kids. These are great. This is wait till they're players. And we get to interview them there, too. That'll be fun. But, Coach, again, thanks for joining us, and good luck with Horse on Thursday.
Thank you. Go Highliners.
Coach Jimmy Howard and friends joining us here. We'll be back with more Coach's Corner from the Hack on the Highliner Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner here on the Highliner Activity Network. Again, I want to thank our guests for joining us here tonight. Brandon Bradford, assistant coach for the Highliner boys basketball team, Callahan Burchell, Tessa Olson, and of course Jimmy Howard and his two kids. I love kids are great on TV. They're good live TV stuff when you can get little ones on TV. But I want to thank them for joining us tonight and just knowing some things coming up as far as activities for Valley City. Of course, we've talked about basketball coming up here on Thursday. There's going to be ninth grade, I believe, basketball coming up Thursday at 4:15, and then at 5:45 there'll be the C Squad, and then the varsity at around about 7:30 for the varsity game here against Horace on Thursday, and then a full day of basketball Saturday as Lisbon comes to town. JV and C Squad for the boys and girls will be at 10:30 in the morning, and then the boys will be around noon for the varsity, and the girls around 1:30. Those coming up here on Saturday. Now, next week on Monday, right around on the Hack, if you come to the Hack here on Thursday for the basketball game, you'll see some artwork as they are having their art exhibit. The art students, Stephanie Kruger, the art teacher here for Valley City, they are having their art exhibit. They already have some of the exhibits up, and that's going on Monday here at the Hack, and I believe at 7 o'clock that will be getting started on Monday night. Now, we'll be back here next week with another edition of Coach's Corner, and just teasing a little bit what we're going to have next week. We're going to have the new softball coach for Valley City Highlanders is going to be joining us for Coach's Corner next week, and we'll have that. We'll also we'll be talking gymnastics, and that'll be next week as well, along with hockey. So lots coming up next week as well. Coach's Corner is here live on YouTube on the Highliner Activity Network each and every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, and we're here at the Hack in the lobby. So again, I want to thank our guests for joining us tonight. Jaden Johnson, our cameraman, technical director, and his heart has slowed down now that no cords are being pulled on, and he's feeling a lot better. But we'll be back again next week at 6 o'clock with another edition of Coach's Corner right here on the Highliner Activity Network.
What you say?